When the two came to the deck, Charlie couldn't help sighing against the cold sea breeze. Although he has rescued Warnya safely now, and has begun to take her on the journey home. However, this matter is far from over. Next is the most important part. Tianming and Honor, the vicious father and son, have not yet resolved. Now, Mr. Song pretends to protect himself from dementia. With his current situation, it is impossible for a single person to beat Tianming and his son. Once the father and son found out that he was in disguise, they would kill him immediately. Therefore, what he has to do next is to expose the true colors of Tianming and Honor, the father and son duo, in public, rescue old Song, and let Warnya regain control of the entire Song family group. However, after this, we still have to face the problem of how to solve Tianming and Honor. In Charlie's view, the father and son not only committed the crime of intentional homicide, but also directly attacked their loved ones. Not only were they rebellious, but also heinous. Even if they resorted to the law, they should be sentenced to death. Therefore, there is no need for people like this to stay in this world. However, these two people are after all Warnya's close relatives. How to deal with them depends on what Warnya and even Mr. Song meant. Warnya was also standing on the deck at this time, blowing the sea breeze, looking at Tokyo further and further away, and said with emotion, "Master, if it were not for you, I might have died in Tokyo." Charlie smiled and said, "Don't say such dejected words. You auspicious people have their own heavens. Even without me, you shouldn't die, you won't die." Warnya smiled gratefully and asked him, "Master, if I really died, would you be sad?" Charlie said seriously, "Of course, don't forget, you are my friend." Warnya's expression was a little joyful and a little disappointed. She secretly said in her heart, "Could it be that in my life, the relationship with Master can only stop at the word, friend?" The past keeps reappearing in her heart, and she comforted herself from the bottom of her heart. "Master has treated me very well, I should be satisfied." At this moment, Charlie looked at Warnya and asked, "Warnya, have you ever thought about how to deal with your uncle and cousin after this incident?" Warnya was slightly surprised, thinking for a long time, shaking her head blankly and saying, "Master, I haven't thought about this question." Charlie nodded and sighed lightly. "You haven't thought about it before, now you should think about it." Warnya asked him, "Master, do you have any good suggestions?" Charlie said, "My suggestion is very simple, just 5 words, cut the grass and root." Warnya's expression flashed a little struggling, and she clenched the railing with both hands, and said tangledly, "I know what you mean, but after all, they are all from the Song family, and they are my dearest relatives. I can't do it." Charlie said lightly, "You don't need to start this matter, you just have to make a decision." Warnya sighed, "I know what you mean, but it is very difficult to make this decision. I have to consider not only my own feelings but also the feelings of my grandpa and the feelings of everyone in the Song family." "It's all a family?" Charlie asked, "but when they tried to kill you, did they treat you as a family?" Warnya nodded. "They are really amazing, but I am not them after all." After that, she said again, "Master, in fact, you don't know. Since the Song family has no great people in my generation, Grandpa used to feel sorry for this. If the uncle and cousin die again, it must be a bigger blow to him." Charlie smiled indifferently. "I understand what you mean. After all, blood is thicker than water. It's okay to spare their lives, but there is one thing you should pay attention to." Warnya hurriedly said, "Master, please speak." He said, "You can keep their lives, but you must remember that capital crimes can be avoided, but living crimes are inevitable. While forgiving them, you must give them enough punishment, and you must fully restrict their future possibility. Only in this way can future troubles be eliminated to the greatest extent." Warnya nodded. "I know, Master, I will definitely consider this matter." While speaking, Charlie suddenly heard it, and a faint roar came from directly behind. He turned his head and saw that at a distance of about 1 or 2 kilometers from his own ship, a smaller one was rushing towards him at full speed. When a ship is sailing on the sea, the wind noise and the slap of the waves are already very loud. At this time, it is difficult to hear the sound of other ships. At such a distance, it is difficult to hear the sound even when the siren is fully opened. If it wasn't for Charlie's hearing sense to be much more sensitive than ordinary people, it would be impossible to hear it. Seeing that there was still a ship following him on the empty sea, Charlie immediately felt that something was wrong with this matter. He immediately said to Warnya, "Warnya, you go back to the room first." Seeing Charlie's solemn expression, Warnya felt that something was wrong. So she hurriedly asked, "Master, is something wrong?" He looked at the light that was approaching in the distance, with a sneer at the corner of his mouth, and said playfully, "We seem to have new guests again." Warnya followed his gaze. She only saw a ship on the sea, directly behind their ship, constantly approaching. She was a little surprised and asked, "Master, do you suspect that the ship's target is us?" Charlie smiled slightly. "Their goal may be just me, not you," Warnya immediately said firmly. "Master, I want to be with you." Charlie smiled and said, "No, you go back to the room and stay there. I can solve any problem alone." But Warnya's expression increased. If there was any danger, she would definitely not want Charlie to stay alone. Charlie said with comfort at this time, "Warnya, what's the matter? You can't help me if you stay here, and you may become a burden, so you should go back to the room as soon as possible to make me more at ease." After speaking, Charlie added, "You are not clear about my situation. It is impossible for ordinary people to hurt me." Warnya hesitated repeatedly, nodded gently, and exhorted, "Master, then you must pay attention to safety." Charlie nodded and smiled. "Okay, don't worry." As soon as the voice fell, a sailor ran out of the stairs on the deck, and said nervously, "Mr. Wade, there is a ship behind us that has been following us and is rushing towards us with all strength. The captain suspects that the other party is not good. Let me ask you, what are you going to do?" Charlie smiled indifferently. "They should be here for me. Don't all of you come to the deck later, leave everything here to me." The sailor hurriedly said, "How can this work? Mr. Wade, Mr. Ito, and the chairman told us that we must safely send you and Ms. Song to China. If the other party is really bad, then we will fight with them. At the same time, ask Mr. Ito for help and let him send reinforcements as soon as possible." Charlie waved his hand. "No, listen to me. Send Miss Song back to the room, and then everyone stays in the cabin. Without my permission, don't come on deck anyway."